You're going to be welcomed formally in a few minutes, so I'll just say hello and start the proceedings. I want to acknowledge the land we're on first. We acknowledge that this rally is being held on the traditional territory of the Mississauga Nations. So some of you may want to stay masked or separated from one another. Please respect one another's distancing requirements and protection requirements. And Claire Holloway Wadwani. Now, we owe a lot to these four because they have worked tirelessly to try to understand what the council's up to, but they'll tell you all about that. Claire.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Bill, and thank you all for coming today. Please mind me, I'm not going to stand on that because I'm afraid I'll fall. So I'm just going to stand on the ground. But it's really heartening to see so many community members gathered here together in person. We don't do this so much right now, and it's really great, especially because we're all here to rally around the idea of saving our trees. And of course, the reason we're here today is because the decision about the fate of the 2,700 trees here at Lion Centre Park is part of a much bigger decision that we are making about the future of our tree canopy here in Port Hope. These 2,700 trees are 2,700 of 50,000 trees that are currently threatened by the PHAI cleanup, not because of radiation, but because of other low-level contamination. In the case of the Lion Centre Park, we're talking about low-level industrial waste, but for the most part, we're talking about low levels of arsenic at levels deemed safe for human health by the scientific consensus. We are here because of decisions that were made 20 years ago. And we have learned so much in these past 20 years about the importance of our tree canopy, not just for our environmental health, not just for the beauty and enjoyment of this space that we call home, but indeed for our health and well-being. Trees have been proven to contribute to our mental health. We know that trees clean our air, they sequester carbon, and they regulate temperature, which is so crucial living as we are in the age of climate change. And I tell you, is it really worth the risk? It's only 1,000 trees. But let us be clear, it is never just 1,000 trees, nor 2,700 trees. It is 50,000 trees, a huge swath of our urban tree canopy that is at stake. And surely, when we are talking about decisions at that scale, at that magnitude, with such dramatic impact on our future as a community, we should be making decisions together as a municipality. And that means we, in keeping that big picture in mind, as we turn our attention now to the issue of this day, which is the 2,700 trees here at Lion Centre Park. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Greg Burns. Thank you.
The consultant who wrote this report has no remediation experience at all. He is a municipal planner. And yet CNL, who are the scientists and who had suggested some alternatives, their options were turned down in that report. And basically, potential risk involved, if in fact it exists. Why, and I looked at this building behind me, why were the Port Hope Lions Club and the Legion allowed to continue to host daily events on this property if in fact there is a health risk? Why did the municipality not post signs warning people who use this park that there's a health risk as you wander through, either as an individual or with your dogs or cats? Why didn't they do that? Where is there any, and this is a real key one, where is there any actual scientific or anecdotal evidence of harm to the community? None has been provided to us to date, even though we've asked for it. And finally, what scientific studies were conducted on the industrial waste to support the concern about the long-term health of the community? None have been conducted as of now. I wanted to
Megan, come around this side. Oh, and can you help both sides? little bit upwards there. Yeah. How's that look? Do you look good? Do you look cute? Do you look cute? Do you look cute?
Well, do they look cute?
Do you look cute?
Let me take more pictures.
Reagan? Are you still there? Wait, come on. Reagan, what are you doing? I like letting you walk. Oh, it's me. It's my one day off.
It has always been used by the local public. It's funny, very few people even know it exists outside of a few blocks. But the ones that do know love walking by and admiring the trees. I have 3 children who have enjoyed exploring the woods and watching the wildlife just as much as I do.
Oh, thank you so much.
I have been brought up to respect and explore the forest, and so they have too. They understand we leave nature alone so we don't disturb where all the bunnies, foxes, squirrels, chipmunks, owls, and too many types of birds to count live. Absolutely. We feed the animals, we provide bird baths and feeders all over our property, which adjoins the woods. We've encouraged the wildlife my entire life. Over 40 years. I find it heartbreaking to think that all these mature trees are going to be removed.
Thank you.
Tell me your story about how you were saying there.
Well, I've lived in that house for 44 years. It's my family's lifelong home. And I don't believe that the 2,700 trees need to come down. I think they need to be left alone.
Tell me about you had concerns that if it's that dangerous,
Nobody has ever let us know that it's dangerous. My children go in there. They've always loved the forest. My father always cleaned up the stream, took debris out, cut up branches. We burned those in our fireplace. We had no idea that it was toxic.
So it's either toxic and you should have been told, or it's not toxic and let it go?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I understand that they are saying that there is some toxic waste, but it's under the ground and has been for 80 to 100 years plus. Why are we removing it? Just leave it alone. If it was so toxic, would all of these animals come back year after year? I think that their natural instinct would tell them not to live there.
This is the visual. Yeah, like the well is okay. Jennifer, they're still there.
I gotta have it.
Okay.
Take a ribbon if you want
It's
You're going back home? Oh, good. I'll walk by so everybody can see the property. You know what that is?
Yes, she did a
boundary of the stream and a little bit of the north side of the stream.
rather than
Over ending up at here in the proposal, right to the other side of the stream.
Sorry, right.
And these oak trees.
That's where she grew up. And in their property, they have 3 lots. 2 of them 100 Camels in here?
In here, no.
Or anywhere in this area?
Oh, they've definitely done some holes. Yep, they definitely have. But do I think that they've done enough? No.
The town probably wants the dirt removed so they don't have any expense.
Pardon? Hardly enough. They won't know which side it was tagged from. You want me to put my finger there?
From this side of the building, but I don't know if there's anything underneath.
Never doing that? You got that down? Good.
Even longer, 80 years. 80 years.
The super highway of Dogwalkers.
The house down at the very end, beside St. Mary's School.
I know when people's dogs
And,
things that they're
you know, they're baffled by what's going on out there.
So we're right in the heart, I guess, of where they'll
Yeah.
be removing stuff.
Yep.
React any other way.
Do you feel poison?
I don't feel poison. I love the woods. The woods is part of my life. Like, I was brought up to respect it and love the wildlife. I'm not sure why we're going to dig up all of these trees. I think that we should leave them.
What Greg was saying, especially what Greg was saying, was news to me, but I mean, certainly more questions need to be asked and answered.
Absolutely. I understand that change needs to happen. I understand that if there are some things that need to be removed, okay, let's have discussions about that. But I think that there needs to be more answers provided.
And from what I understand, from what everybody was saying, that's what isn't happening.
Right. Right.
So hold off until the answers. I guess that'd be the best thing for now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just hold off until we get all of the answers.
No, don't
Yeah.
do that.
You've got 3 children, 2 young children.
Yeah.
They so now that you know about quote unquote dangers, would you let them play here?
Absolutely. I grew up here playing in it. My oldest is 20. She's played in it, and we have no health concerns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
are they?
you can't just.
When were they going to start cutting the trees down? Like soon?
This autumn, after the nesting season. But
Yeah. Yeah, that makes. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
anyway. Yes, this fall.
Yeah. Late August, beginning of September is what they
So what's the next step, Sue, as far as, like, is there going to be a council vote on this thing, or what's
Well, no, apparently it's out of the hands of council, it's staff. We're making, Greg is going to make a presentation to council on April 3rd, and we'll see what happens after
So
that.
and present the petition and do the whole
Yes,
thing, right?
yeah.
Tell me what was going on here today.
Today we had a rally on the first point to talk about the 2,700 trees threatened at Lion Center Park, but also looking at the big picture of the 50,000 trees that are threatened through the PHAI cleanup unnecessarily, not due to radiation, but to low levels of other contaminants like arsenic that have been deemed safe to human health at those levels.
Tell us a little bit about what you said today to the audience, just about how they are low levels, things like that, like they're not deemed or just,
Yeah, so here at Lion Center Park, we have low levels of industrial waste, but most of the 50,000 trees are being threatened as a result of arsenic at levels well below the threshold that's deemed safe to human health. And I think what we're asking for is an opportunity to revisit the decisions that were made 20 years ago on the basis of what we know now in 2022 and in the interests of the people who are here now in 2022. So we're calling on our elected officials and town staff to work collaboratively with the people who make up this municipality to weigh the risks of contaminants in our soil against the very real risk of the loss of our tree canopy, so that we can make the best decision, I guess, for the interests of us all.
and again, I ask, devil's advocate,
Yes.
if you got rid of 50,000 trees and planted 50,000 trees, would that be bad?
Absolutely. Old growth trees are a very different thing than saplings. As you said, Greg used this visual. I don't know if it's, a sapling that's an inch in diameter and 6 feet tall cannot sequester carbon, cannot clean our air, cannot stabilize our soil, cannot contribute to our mental health and well-being the way old growth, natural growth forests can. And as you said on the air last night, Port Hope is trees. When you drive to Port Hope from any direction, what you see is our beautiful urban tree canopy. It is so integral to the character of this community and to the way our community interacts with this space. And frankly, when we look to the future, in the age of climate change, we need to be thinking about carbon sequestration. We need to be thinking about what will help our community to be resilient to changing temperatures, changing weather patterns. And cutting down our trees, quite frankly, makes us more vulnerable. And that is a very real risk that should be weighed against the risks identified in the PHAI.
Do you have hope, holding out hope?
I do have hope, and it's, events like this are what give me hope, because when I see hundreds of people come together around any issue, you know that that's just the tip of the iceberg, that those hundreds of people who show up on a day like this when the weather is kind of crappy, there are hundreds and hundreds of others who are having that same thought, who are on our side. And I think what we need is an open and transparent process so that we all get to have a voice, so that we can make decisions together as a municipality. And I think we need to get out of this trap of an us versus them kind of conversation. When I say we, the municipality, I mean we, the people who live here, who make up the municipality, working collaboratively with our elected officials.
How many people would you say were here?
About 150 here today. We've also had over 100 people sign the petition online, and hundreds of others that are engaging with us online and through email who are engaged in the process. And council, unfortunately, was not represented here at the rally today, but I hope they are listening, because they should know that we are listening, we are paying attention, and we are going to continue to pay attention and to follow these decisions. Even if they continue in this piecemeal manner, we will be here to speak for the trees and to demand transparency and participation.
One thing that I've learned just from talking to you today, that this decision was made 20 years ago. That's like kind of a key factor that
Absolutely.
maybe it deserves to be looked into again, or I guess ... it wouldn't hurt.
Absolutely. And to keep in mind that we are not bound by that contract. The CNL is bound by contractual obligations to us as the municipality, but we have the opportunity to question the decisions of the past. And maybe in some cases we agree with our predecessors and land at the same decision, but maybe knowing what we know today, we make a different choice. And that is at the very least a question worth exploring, and a decision that should be done in a transparent way where all of us who are going to be impacted have a chance to participate.